Hey everyone, Dr. Jeff Horowitz with Dentists in the Know. Welcome to Humpday Happy Hour. This is your backstage pass for current trends, politics, and education in the dental world. It is live and it's over a cocktail of your choice, whatever you wish. The Dinks are coming off 2 weeks that, man, we're beat, but our guest tonight thinks she has us beat. We're complaining about being in Mexico and in Chicago, and our guest tonight, Dr. Karla Soto, well, she's been in South Africa and in LA and probably has no clue what time it is right now, but that's okay. We're all here to have fun, and I'm with my best friends, as always, Dr. Chad Duplantis and Dr. Jennifer Bell. We are all educators, we are all dentists, and we are all business owners. And our job is to bring all of you in the know. But in the meanwhile, we got to spend some killer time with our educational partner, Align, who is sponsoring the show today. And Dr. Karla Soto is going to be talking about some of the new offerings from Align today, as well as her venture into digital dentistry and what she's doing in Boca Raton, Florida. And in the meanwhile, JB, do you think you could queue up some news for us?
Always. I
Okay.
have to tell you though, there's some real highs and lows in this one too.
Oh,
Is there?
great.
Yeah, I always bring the really sad news. That's fine. I'll take it on the chin. I can't help that the world of the news actually is pretty depressing when you start digging into it every week, and that most of the things that are nice don't make it into the news. So we're just here to report what we find. The first is actually a follow up story because we were out the week before. We didn't really actually get to cover this, but there was a dentist in Louisiana who was tragically hurt in her clinic when she was working that day by a person who visited the office. I do believe that they were a patient or soon to be patient. And she is recovering, but she is likely going to lose her eye and have some extensive work on her hand. There is a GoFundMe page to raise money to help her with medical expenses and also lost work as she's sort of recovering. And a pretty tragic story, quite honestly. Young dentist, just kind of starting her career out, met with an unfortunate instance in the dental clinic that she was serving in. She has a phenomenal history of serving those in need and providing help to those who need access to care. And I really hope that this particular incident doesn't. Number one, I hope she physically is able to return back and perform her duties. But if not, that she can continue to find the good in the world. And she did report that just seeing the GoFundMe page and the response from the dental community in general, trying to uplift her during this very difficult time, has at least given her some hope that there's still a tremendous amount of good in a world that she, unfortunately had this incident. So we're praying for Dr. Tran, and we really hope for a quick recovery, whatever that may look like for her. In another event that happened just last week and then is sort of carrying over into this week, and actually Dr. Clark was posting about this earlier today, it is suspected that the same ransom group Black Cat, who hit Henry Schein last year and had them down for 40 days in 2023, may have now hit United Health and Optum, their subsidiary, for the Change Healthcare platform. This platform is where most of the claims processing occurs within several software systems. So if you're a dentist that happens to use Change Healthcare, that's how you submit your digital and electronic claims to your insurance company for submission for payment. This is now officially down and not reachable for those particular members who use their service. We're now on day, I believe, almost a week since the service has been down. So we have lots of clinicians and providers waiting to file claims. This isn't just specific to dental. This has also affected medical and pharmaceutical agencies as well. The recommendation at this time is to move to a different agency for processing or to mail your claim to your insurance company. And I just laugh because we all know what happens to claims that are mailed. to the insurance company. Some small percentage just somehow magically disappear. So I hate this for the customers. I do think that many of the partners that were using Optimum and Health Exchange are moving to Vine and starting to process claims through Vine instead. So hopefully that will be a service that will be available and can onboard dentists very quickly so that they can start processing claims again and get paid for their services. Another very bizarre story, and quite frankly, one of the largest settlements in dentistry that we've seen thus far. For most dentists, if you look at your malpractice carrier coverage, you probably have a 2 million, 4 million outlying coverage for dental claims. Maybe you go up to 6 million. And those are usually statistically based on past claims that have been settled against dentists to sort of gauge the maximum amount that they think dentists might be hit for a liability lawsuit. Well, we have a new high, folks, and it happened in Pennsylvania just this week. A dentist has now been ordered to pay $11 million for a delayed diagnosis of a squamous cell carcinoma on a tongue. The patient had been seen by the dentist for several months, I think over 8, regarding a tongue lesion, according to the patient, and was denied or not offered an opportunity for a biopsy or referred for a biopsy to an oral surgeon or periodontist. This claim also alleges that the dentist then destroyed records. The story gets super sticky because we also somehow have a family member of the plaintiff also works for the defendant. So there's a lot of squirreliness in this whole story. It gets very muddled with who's related to who. But at the end of the day, this is a no joke settlement of $11 million that a dentist has now been ordered to pay to an individual for a delayed diagnosis for squamous cell carcinoma of the tongue, which resulted in chemotherapy. Now the patient's still alive. The dentist is now broke. And with that, that's the news.
Well, that's just a ray of sunshine.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was his maximum benefit from his
Didn't report, but I guarantee you it was not 11 million. I've never seen.
No, 3 to 5 is pretty typical.
Yeah. That's a pretty big outlier.
What state was that
especially
again?
in a no death liability. So, you would not be surprised to see that in these sedation cases that are coming through, where perhaps there was a patient that passed away due to sedation issues that may have occurred, or even an underdiagnosis that did result in death. But, there is some, the patient did lose a portion of the tongue from the removal of the lesion and underwent chemotherapy. It's still a pretty significant claim. So I don't know. The whole thing with the family member that also worked for the office as well is a little swirly to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some holes in this case that I would love to get my hands on, but nonetheless, I think that malpractice insurance carriers are going to be looking at this one pretty closely.
Very, very, very interesting.
Depressing.
Depressing is really the word, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. And then if you don't have proof that you've referred or tried to refer, 8
months is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the good news for the dentist is that most dentists suck at saving money, so they probably will never be able to collect that much.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, well, let's pick things up a little bit.
Do you want to? We really need to.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce Karla for everyone?
It would be my honor to introduce Karla for everyone. Tonight we have with us, I would like to call a dear friend now. We've gotten to serve and participate in quite a few activities together. Dr. Karla Soto is joining us tonight on behalf of a show with Align as an educational partner for this evening. Dr. Soto is a champion of patients and of bringing patient-centered care into her office and really dialing into digital workflow and bringing all of these pieces together, which we are definitely going to talk about tonight. She is focused on facially generated treatment plans, She works with DSD as a KOL. She's a global aligned faculty member and just an all around pretty awesome individual and world traveler. Dr. Soto, Karla, welcome. So glad to have you tonight.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yes, yeah, absolutely. I am so proud to say that we were like the only like standing like serving at board like from the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
So every time like I come and see you, that's why I'm so upset I won't see you this weekend. But guys, thank you so much for having me here. I have so many questions for you guys because I am having FOMO from the video that I did not see, but I saw some stuff on social media, so I have an idea of some of the things that happened. Sounds like you guys had a blast.
It was great.
Not to ask us to dance.
Yeah, do not.
I am so doing that the next time I see you. It's actually one of my specialties, so I feel like I'm gonna enjoy that very much.
Yeah, Karla's actually a really good dancer, guys. So I might.
I've been practicing up on my merengue.
I can't. I'm gonna test you on that the next time I see you for sure.
I'm still trying to find my rhythm. It ain't happening.
Come on,
so is the internet.
You are so cool.
Look, Ma.
You got this. but Jennifer, so I think this is gonna be the test. I know that I can make you dance if I play some like really jamming Taylor Swift stuff.
Absolutely.
But the test is if these guys are cool enough because they're your best friends, and I know that you are a Swiftie like I am.
Yes.
Are they? Oh, hanging
No,
up.
I'm alone.
Hanging
not so
what?
much.
Yeah, I'm the lone fruit on this vine.
Stop it. Well,
yeah.
I'm with you, girl.
Thank you. I knew you would be.
And you know what? I'm going to Vancouver to the last show. So I got tickets.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And I'm no longer a Travis Kelce fan either.
Stop it. Oh, come on. Don't be a guy like that. Whatever.
No, I don't have anything against Taylor. I'm just not a Swiftie, but I am driving 4 teenagers to the Olivia Rodrigo concert. Does that count for anything?
It does.
You do get credit for that.
Mhm.
You did, yeah. You get
So you're driving, but you're not going in?
Oh no. No.
She's gonna be in a sports car.
Oh no.
No. I'm going to drive, and then I'm going to be the dad Uber.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love it. That you get like maybe 1 or 2 points. That's basically it. But what did it feel to have a booth, guys? That's a pretty big deal.
It was
So
pretty
much fun.
awesome. Yeah. It was really nice to have our own space to be able to. The year before, we walked around and interviewed a lot of folks on the floor, and that was challenging for a whole host of reasons. Lighting is, I mean, you have a small studio in your house as well. You got lighting and video recording challenges, and then just so much noise, and then trying to get folks to stand still long enough that you can get good content.
Right.
So having a home base where we could bring them in with good lighting, good sound most of the time, and being able to kind of control the distraction of what was going on and just really have these, I thought, really cool, intimate interviews with people as if you were almost the only 2 people on the floor at the time. Didn't you feel that way, guys, when you were inside that booth? Like nothing else was happening.
It's so quiet in the booth. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
congratulations.
I would agree.
That's so wonderful.
Karla,
Good content too.
Talking about sharing videos, I don't know if you have access to, but I really would love if we could show, or we'll post it up later, your video that did go viral not that long ago. And I've referenced it multiple times in my lectures since, because it was such a cool example of all of these pieces of technology coming together. So I'll give you a quick description and then she can dive in. But she had on the new Apple lenses, right? The Oculus for Apple.
The Apple Vision Pro.
And she was demonstrating all the different things she could do within that. And it went crazy. Tell us about it. And also it got a little hate, as everything big does.
Everything gets a little hate.
Oh my God. So that's why I love what you guys have going on. This, and I'm all about it, but like this sense of like community and supporting and empowering. It's such a lonely profession, and there is something in dentist DNA to want to, like, I don't know, like even if it's like, I don't know, even if it's like local dentists like bashing on each other or something, I don't know what it's always, what it's been, but I had luckily, maybe I had never felt it directly, you know. So I do this very benign post of not even a real patient. My husband was a patient, and I was like, all the things that you could do. Literally, I had less than 24 hours with my Apple Vision Pros. I barely like knew, you know, what to do, but I was able to like open up a bunch of stuff. I was doing clean checks, and then we were Sunday recording some content in the office, and we're like, why don't we just like quickly, we filmed that in probably like 5 minutes. We posted it, and I mean, it got a lot of hate. It got like not just a little bit, a lot of hate, but it's the first time in my life that I felt bullied. And I don't know. I mean, I'm a strong, confident person, and it gets to you.
Yeah,
I
for
didn't see it.
sure.
So what was the hate about?
So basically, I mean, it was stupid stuff. So just to give you an idea, the post got reposted, screen recorded, and reposted on like multiple avenues. I lost count without tagging me a lot of times. Sometimes people would just like kind of like, hey Karla, have you seen this? Got translated into Arabic, Persian, Spanish, like, I mean, you name it. It must have had millions of views. The ones that I could see was over like 1.5 million. And I wasn't even tagged. So it's not only people would put watermarks on my video. So
You're like, guys.
It was like, it was the craziest thing ever. Thousands of reshares, thousands of, you know, everything. And I got a lot of love on DMs and a lot of hate on those public pages that are not mine, that, you know. So it was, the hate was about, she's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. If this is what dentistry is going to go to with technology, I'm out. She like, my favorite was like, she doesn't know how to connect with a patient. Because and the reason why
they know you so well
is because that's like almost, if I have a claim, that's my claim, you know, my emotional connection to my patients. So I took it, I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I'm human, I took it personal. It definitely was kind of like starting to mess with my brain. So I mean, I don't know, have you guys ever had had that ever happen to you?
We don't go viral.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't done anything cool
is
enough
a daily
yet to actually get
thing, but
hate.
we just don't go viral. We just
Yeah,
don't
you
get the hate
know?
at that level.
You do not want to go viral. You don't like, no, like people are like vicious and mean. People are mean.
Well, I would love to talk about what you did, because I thought for the first time, man, what a cool experience to finally have all the different portals and the things that we manipulate on a daily basis in one screen, where you could just toggle back and forth between, Jeff, think about this. You could toggle between your full arch scan, your MRI, your CBCT, and you could just move things around within the same view instead of on your computer having to,
Yeah,
the screen is infinite.
yeah, like it's a 360 screen, and you can have it like at different, I guess, opacities and sizes, and you can like, it's not virtual reality, it's augmented reality, right? So you're still within the space, and you can see the patient, and you can be scanning them, but you have access to infinite data of whatever you want. So I mean, my idea was like, you know, imagine that world where you're coming in, like, and you have in your head all of this information, and you're simultaneously, because to me, again, that was 24 hours after, but to me, because it's augmented reality and there's applications that are just coming, and 3D applications, some people were able to like, I mean, the whole point would be if you could have the magnification through it, right? Then you can actually, you know, like look at it on your 4K screen, because it's on space. I mean, it's insane. The explanation doesn't make sense until you actually experience it, because you could see me do it, but it's not the same as when you actually experience it. I wasn't in Cape Town when Christian Coachman, I was like, Christian, I want you to experience this. And he was like a little kid. He was like a little kid experiencing something that, I mean, that it's the next thing. It's the next thing in technology in general. And I imagine in dentistry, there's so much to do with it, right? And I was coming off from the high of Lumina, literally just launching Lumina, just like this Apple Vision Pro within a week of these like incredible, you know, technology innovations. And I'm just like, you know, like having fun. And then like, this, like
The internet just had a big smack.
Right, like you're flying too high. You need to come down, and literally.
So just for our listeners, anyone listening on podcast, when Karla referred to Christian, she was talking about Christian Coachman, of course, from Digital Smile Design. So, this is not just a friend that was blown away by this. Like this is the guy who kind of started Digital Smile Design.
He's
so I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Is this approved for the ADD afflicted?
I think it's a problem as one. I think as one that's actually a problem. But I think that it's more to me it was more a call to like, let's think of where this could go, because imagine if we could overlap it with the actual patient. Sure, they're too heavy for us to be able to work with them right now, and like right now I'm just thinking about the future. But if you could overlap your implant, your guided implant, like, with CBCT, with like the guide, or if you could overlap like your smile design while you're prepping, or your gingivectomy design when you're doing the surgery. There are so many things.
Even just having your radiograph visible to you, as an endodontist, a surgeon, a restorative doctor, you can reference that instead of constantly having to turn out of loop, look away from where you're working, and then reference it back to what you're working on. I think there's a lot of application in future, and a lot of development that will come for sure.
Imagine, JB, if you had a video like right there that had the sound and everything ready and the video ready, and you could just like while you're talking, just tap it with your left hand and it would actually come on the screen when you wanted it to. Imagine that.
Shut up.
I would venture to say that jealousy fuels most hate. So don't let the hate get to you. I mean, it's not worth it. You're too good for that. Don't let it get to you. We don't hate you.
No,
I was going to write a mean comment, but I'm not going to now. I'm going to go back there and I'm going to write something really nice on there.
For me, the huge takeaway too is if you're not even scanning, or heaven forbid that you are still taking regular x-rays and developing them in film, like dentistry is moving on without you. And it is going at such a pace that if you're still that far behind in your development, you better catch up really fast, because where this is going and what the patient's expectations are going to be is going to happen so much quicker than what we've seen in the last 40 years, for sure.
To Chad's point, it is intimidation that fuels those kinds of responses. It's intimidation and jealousy.
Jeff, I'm going to disagree with that one a little bit, because I remember like my thought has always been with, if it's no, because if you think about it, it's like I'm intimidated. I don't understand it. But I can be like, but that's cool. It could not be for me. I may not understand it, but I remember always my philosophy has always been to like be a cheerleader for something, even if it's not for me, or it's not mine, or I don't understand it, or maybe I wanted what I can't have it. It's never going to be like, oh, that's stupid. It's mostly going to be like, man, like that's awesome. Lucky, So I don't think it's intimidation.
Because you're a good person.
Yeah, that's the difference right there.
I'll sum it up real quickly. The guy driving the McLaren today wasn't an asshole. He was just an asshole because he was driving the car that I should have been driving. All right.
Oh,
it comes down to that. Yeah. It comes down to that.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a good one, Chad. That's a good one too.
All right, so let's talk Lumina. Let's hear it.
Talk about it.
Give me a Consumer Reports.
Oh my gosh, I don't think we have enough time, but I am super excited. And it goes back to that conversation that we were having, right? It goes back to two things. Are you getting on the train, right? Are you on the train that's going? Are you an early adopter? And are you part of a community that, even if it's not for you right now, are you looking forward to being that, doing that? So, Lumina, I think that the summary would be like, we've been slowly seeing like little improvements here and there on the scanning technology and different scanners, and some have better visuals and some do this, and some are like, are like lighter than others, or bigger than others. And I feel that, you know, with, of course, the help of incredible clinicians, you know, in the room, like you guys, I feel like, you know, like when someone is really listening and taking notes on all of the things that we want, and then they may not all be possible, but like as close as possible to get. I think that's what Lumina, at least to me, you know, it's almost like all of my like wish list is like slowly getting answered in terms of what I want in a scanner. So
Mhm.
I think it's really exciting because it's not just a little improvement. It's like something completely different.
Yeah.
So
So
what's on your wish list? I mean, what did you want that you found with Lumina?
Darn
So
it, that was my question.
ooh,
Sorry, buddy.
stole it.
Mm.
So I've been, so I do a lot of like interdisciplinary dentistry, right? Like I'll do surgery, I'll do ortho, and I'll do the cosmetics, and I do everything full digital workflows. And that's what I do. And I've been doing that, you know, of course, in a much more successful way. I even did a lot with elements too, but like much more successful with like 5D plus. So 5D plus it's a great scanner. And I was comfortable. I was doing,
Mhm.
there's no case that I couldn't do. Hybrids, on all nexus, like everything, veneers, full arches, whatever, like I could do it, full digital workflows. So I was kind of comfortable with that. And it's still a great scanner, which I still have in the office and I still use. But what I wanted, a lot of what I wanted was, we always want speed and accuracy and, you know, beautiful visuals, right? I mean, that's kind of like, it's almost like, what do you want in a car? You know, like, of
Mhm.
course you want power, you want speed, you want it to look good. It's kind of similar. But then it came with like, well, it's light, it's half the size, half the weight. And it truly, literally, like, I mean, what, doing the beta testing, and now I'm doing the clinical trials for the restorative phase. Yeah, right. The only thing I don't like about that picture that I told Align is like, it needs to be a woman holding this thing. Right. So it's half the weight, half the size, and it's so fast that you're not used to. We're used to like scanning, seeing the image and the stitching, right? But because it has 3 times the field of capture, it just goes. So it's almost like you can go faster than with the image that's showing up on the scanner. So when you're asking me what I wanted, I mean, I want accuracy, and I want speed, and I want it to be the maneuver, like being ergonomically friendly, especially not for like health scans or Invisalign scans, like that. You're not holding the wand for that long. But when you're doing full arches, and when you're doing multiple units, and when you're maneuvering the scanner a lot more, you definitely want that. And when you're holding it, it's almost like a pen grip, you know. So I mean, there's one thing that I've always kind of like, oh, this would be nice. There's one thing that I wanted, and it's not with Lumina. And when I asked, I don't want it anymore. But I was like, why can't it be wireless? And then, of course, like, having access to like all of these genius minds, and it has to do a lot with the, like, if the speed, right? It's almost like you want the speed and that accuracy, and you want it to show up right away. But when with the wireless scanners, it's like, of course it depends on the how the information is getting to the computer, right? So that gets in the way of all of the incredible things that are happening. And all of this is possible because the technology and the way and the scanning method is completely different than the traditional scanners. So instead of like, all of the scanning modules being in the back of the wand, like most, it's confocal technology. It's the name of it. Instead of being there, it's all the way in the front. So it's like 6 like lenses, and it's the position, and it's all the way on the tip of the wand. So I mean, it just make like all of that magic inside. The fact that it's so small, I mean, I am really impressed. Really, really impressed.
So, Karla, you do some ortho in your office as well, right? You do a lot of ortho in your
Yep.
office as well. I think, and I have not, I have not had Lumina in my office yet. We've got the 5D, but the one thing that when I was there at the Align booth looking at the product, the thing that really amazed me was how easily you could capture that high palatal vault, which was always the struggle for every scanner on the, I don't care whose scanner it is. you know, when you just had that distance because the actual head of the scanner wouldn't fit up there.
Yeah.
And doing a lot of orthodontics and airway and expansion appliances, that's really key, right? And so I think that's really a big game changer.
You know, that was, so I told you, so Chad asked me my wish list, but there were surprises that I didn't ask for that happened, and that was the one that stood out like right away, because I was getting the palette no matter where it was, even if I wasn't trying. Like I'm like, it's amazing to have all of that information, especially when you're doing interdisciplinary cases and you're overlapping files. You want to have as much information as possible in the digital world so that you can overlap accurately. But the palette and scanning on edentulous arches, I mean, it just grabs, because the field of capture is bigger, so it just stitches like so much faster. That was, to me, the impressive thing that I'm sure like was a pain when I had to scan, you know, implant cases and things like that. I could still do it, but this just runs. It's very quick on the palate, edentulous areas, multiple implant areas. Yeah, I agree. That was really impressive.
Well, now I have to get it in before my assistants find out about it, because if they find out that that's out there and I'm still making them work so hard, yeah, they're not going to be happy.
For you and for airway, it's going to be amazing, especially on like gag reflex, and like you can still get all of that without bothering the patient so much. Yeah, that was really big. The other thing today, I happened by coincidence. Today I was testing, because of the restorative clinical trials. It's like, sure, we have the patient clinical trials, but I'm also doing like just like models and different situations, right? Just like playing with it. So today I like scanned like 6 different kinds of situations. And I was scanning, you know how it's if scanning edentulous areas is a pain in the butt, scanning a denture, like the intaglio surface, and scanning, it's like so hard in general. And I did it today, and it was really fast.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest advantages I see. I mean, the previous versions of the iTero would get lost between 2 scan bodies if they were far enough apart. You could get each individual scan body. When we go to get the segment of the arch or the entire arch, it like loses in between those 2.
Yeah.
So, and this one here the field of view really just helps with that. And I see edentulous spaces and entire arches being a breeze with this.
Yeah. And I could still, I mean, I remember I still did it with 5D Plus. You can still do it, but then you have all the tricks, like put a string of flowable, or put it like, we had to come up with like things to help the scanner read the path. But like you said, because of that field of capture, like, you don't have to anymore. I cannot make any claims because it's too early for anything, but how quickly and how accurately it goes around implants, even in like, you know, all on X's. I'm waiting for data, but and I used to, again, this is like a digital enthusiast. Like I use photogrammetry, I use like all of those things. And I think that may give it a run for its money. You know, we may not need to go that far to get some accuracy.
So I have a question regarding this. There is a question on the price point, and I don't know that that's fully been released yet. Has it?
Yeah.
Is it to, well, I mean, the second part of the question will be, is it less now than it will be when restorative is released?
Whoa, you're asking a very deep question that I don't have the answer to.
Yeah. So what's the price point of it as is?
The one price point that I know is the one upgrade from a 5D Plus.
Right. That's all I know too.
That's the one that like, it's the most obvious one. And I was told the price of the full unit, and I like the one that sticks to my head is the upgrade. But I don't remember the exact number, but I remember when I heard it, I was like, that doesn't sound as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I haven't even heard the price of the full system. I didn't even ask on Friday.
I'll shoot a text and I'll get an answer before we finish today. How about that?
So I do have a question for both of you, and I'll in a few minutes I'll share my answer on this because this was my conversation on the way home from work today. One of the things that I think we all need to be clear on is that as of right now, there's no restorative workflow. So it's entirely Invisalign and diagnostic. And I think that with that, we would be safe to say that there will be a restorative workflow. We're just working on FDA clearance and approval right now.
Correct.
So my question to you all is this. Well, I don't even know if you all will be able to answer this, but you all being Invisalign faculty, you knew this from the get-go, right? That it was only going to be an orthodontic workflow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I heard
I
about
don't know if I'm
this,
supposed to tell you this, but yes.
well, no,
Yeah.
here's the reason that I'm asking about it, because I went at it from a completely different angle. I was taught about the product and asked for my opinion on the product, and then I was told that it was going to be only Invisalign, and we had no idea. So like all the wind was taken from my sails, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to steal your thunder, Karla, on this, but I want to get your take on it and see what you think. So the more I've had it since midsummer, maybe. And it's been used mainly in hygiene. And so the hygienists are fighting over it. And I was asked by a sales rep today how I thought of it just being, Invisalign and basically diagnostic only, or, multiple capabilities. And I said, basically, how do you feel about it not being able to do restorative capabilities? I said, if you would have asked me that 6 months ago, I would have probably been pretty upset and said it's not the right way to handle it. But having had it for 1 week, I think there's zero, and I mean zero learning curve. And I can attest to that because the week that we got it, we had 2 hygienists that had just started and were very reluctant because they were having a hard time scanning with the previous version. And I wanted them scanning all new patients. So I can attest to it that way. And the other thing is that they have become so used to it. I'm probably going to have to buy the full system because there's no way that they'll ever do without it. But everybody loves scanning with this one. And so the wind is taken out of their sails when they find out that we're doing a crown, and that's, or multiple restorations, and we can't use it. So it's been a complete reversal in my mind of this. Oh my gosh. And so I would tell any doctor that's thinking about it to get it. Use it as for your wellness scans. Use it for staff training and team building. And then you're fully ready to go when it goes restorative. And I'll stop talking right now. But as a restorative doc, that's the way I really felt with it.
I mean, I love how you were telling me about your journey of ups and downs. I didn't live it like that, because to me it was like when the project was introduced, it was already like slated as I need to be in charge of like developing and helping with the restorative piece. And it was always like, it's not a matter of, like if, it's when, and it's happening really soon, but it's a much more complex, accreditation process to go through, like all of the restorative stuff. I think there should be a strategy, right? I mean, it was either it doesn't get launched until that happens, or it gets launched. And I personally don't see the problem, but I'm kind of easygoing. I mean, this is how I see it. If you have one scanner, don't change if you're doing restorative with your one scanner. Like 5D Plus or 5Ds or even an Element 2. They're great restorative scanners. I used to use them for every single restorative anything, unlace, veneer, anything. Now, if you have more than one scanner, you keep, your regular restorative scanner, and then you upgrade the other one. And that way you have like the best of both worlds until the feature gets turned on, which it will be turned on like, automatically. It's a software thing. It's not like an extra payment or anything like that. So, and the other thing is like, there's been so much controversy on like people that bought an iTero and they didn't know, and how come we didn't know? And I mean, it's like, it's innovation, right? It's part of the process of innovation, and it's not like you bought something that doesn't work anymore and you can upgrade it. And based on what I've been told, again, it's not our company, right? We just happen to be able to play with the toys. But I mean, the way that it's been portrayed to me is like the upgrade, like there's no loss on anything, it's like an even, basically you'll never pay more than what the price would be of the full unit. In fact, Lumina is apparently, like, as a unit would have been more, you're better off having bought something recently and then upgrading it. So, I don't know. I think the strategy should be for depending on how you practice and what you do. But once your team gets a hold of it, like you said, they're gonna be fighting for it. How about you, Ken? You've been quiet.
Yeah.
And I know you played with it a lot.
Yeah.
I have an entirely different perspective on this, because I think the days of viewing scanners as restorative tools are long gone. I mean, there's a zillion scanners out there that can scan a tooth for a crown and you can put a crown on. I mean, there's not a lot of magic to that. I mean, and that is coming. I mean, and the thing that scanners have become to me are functional and diagnostic machines, right? And they're helping the everyday dentist really learn diagnosis and functional dentistry in a way that they couldn't really do before. You couldn't capture a full arch and make study models that easily. Now you've got it in your hands like that. Now you can look at wear patterns. Now you can look at a time lapse of what's going on in the occlusion. You can look for prematurities. There's just so much that you can do functionally with this machine so quickly that, the restorative's coming. That's the easy stuff. Like, to me, that's the bread and butter. That's the simple stuff that a bunch of other scanners can do. What this has the ability to do is make every dentist a better diagnostic, practitioner, as well as to get into some of these other functional things very easily, like making appliances that fit on the first go, and just having opportunities that just weren't there before.
And the better communicator, right? Because it's not just like an impression, like a digital impression machine. This is like a full ecosystem with like a communication, like everything that you were saying, plus like all the applications, right? Sure, the time lapse, the occlusogram, the now comparison point with the Align Oral Health Suite, and then it's just like the full ecosystem. And yesterday I was presenting on the Smile video, the ClinCheck Smile video, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's the best simulation. This is coming from a DSD clinic, a DSD KOL, the best simulation of something when you tie that with Smile Architect. So it's just this full like foundational like ecosystem to close the loop. So if you're looking for an impression making machine, digital machine, whatever, sure, there are a lot of other things. I do think there are things that make a very good restorative scanner. So I do know that there's other solutions out there, but to me it's like an all encompassing and like, it's all I use for everything. So I do think there is something special besides the actual scanning capabilities on this,
Well, remember, this is 6 years in the making. We're now seeing 6 years worth of innovation. So, I assure you, they're already working on the next big leap that's happening, or have already been working on that for some period of time. And so, we've always said that about being a part of the newer technology means that you're prepared and ready, and you have the equipment in hand so that when these really cool innovations come along, that you're ready to just plug and play into your new scanner. And to piggyback on something that was said earlier, people forget that Align is a publicly traded company, and that our 401ks and investment portfolios, whether you directly invest in Align, which I don't, but a lot of our 401ks and other investment strategies are propped up on all of these publicly traded companies. Like, they can't tell you anything. It's not an emotional decision that they're making. Like, they legally cannot say anything. And so dentists get their butts hurt constantly. Why didn't they tell us? Why didn't they tell us? And they forget, like, not everybody's a small business. There are these large institutions that are bound by some pretty stringent regulations of what they can and cannot talk about. And this is an exact example of the fact that everybody knew it was in the pipeline. They've known it for 6 years. They still had to keep running a business so that your 401ks wouldn't collapse in the process. It's not an emotional decision.
But it's too reasonable. It's too reasonable.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like, why are you bringing all this wisdom here? Like, she hasn't spoken that much. When she talks, you listen. when she talks, you listen.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No,
it's not up to any of us whether they should or shouldn't release it. That's the thing. I mean, that's the bottom line. And we've got to live with the decision. But something you said earlier, Karla, I just want to point out, no matter when there's an upgrade on any piece of equipment, somebody who just bought it is going to be upset. That's not an Align thing. That's an everybody technology thing. And
Apple,
yeah. I mean, I bought the Apple iPhone 14 Plus Pro Max, best thing ever. And then Jennifer's freaking 15-year-old son's like, I got the 15.
You're behind.
I'm like, he's like, I'll plug this in, and I'm looking at it, and he's like, oh, you don't have the 15. I'm like, I got this one, dude.
Yeah. That's the only way to tell.
Yeah,
it is
so funny.
I was like, it was the best at the time.
We were gonna walk around and do interviews, and like, nope, you can't do it.
You don't have the right phone.
You don't have the right hole.
Sucky camera.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's such a good, but it's still such good technology. That's the thing. I'm not like, sure, we can get excited about the next things, but there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with what we have right now, and it's functioning. I mean, it's working incredible, and I still like I said, I have 5D pluses in my office, and it's perfectly fine. So I do think there's something that, I mean, Jennifer said it way too smart. I'm gonna sound dumb if I add anything to it, so I'm just gonna leave it the way you said it.
Oh,
welcome to our world.
That part is, I think that they know that we're.
I get to see it twice a year in a board meeting, and I'm like, oof, I'm not gonna say anything because she said it so much more.
She's being very humble.
Yeah.
I think we both bring valid points to the table. That's why we keep getting invited back.
Right.
And that's why y'all think
year.
there should be a female hand holding the Lumina.
Come on.
Yes.
I mean, it's a more delicate. They're trying to say it's light, which it is, but show me with a beautifully manicured, not even manicure. I don't even have a manicure. Just a female hand that's delicate and small.
You know, I was once a hand model.
Oh my gosh.
I do not believe it for 1 second.
We just need to do a manicure. We can just paint your nails.
Yeah.
And that'll do it.
No, I think it's a great lineup of products that they've released, and it's just when you think something can't get better, it gets that much better, and they're always on top of something at Align, and so I'm grateful for it. My pocketbook isn't always grateful for it because I'm the eternal upgrader, but this is something that I think every office needs to have.
One of the things that I continue to reflect on with my relationship with Align is just how great the people are. One, Karla said that all these wonderful innovations, and there's some incredibly brilliant minds, but they're all very passionate about what we are doing as dentists. They are as emotionally invested in the care that we're providing to our patients as you are. And they want to know how it's working in your hands, and they want to make it better. And through this whole process with Lumina, constantly reaching out, wanting to know how it was going, wanting to know the patient's experiences, how they can make it better so that clinicians and patients both will continue to benefit from that. It's really an honor actually to be a part of a company. I don't work for them, but to be a part of a process and see individuals who work for a mega company equally as passionate down to the folks running the meeting space and, the janitorial staff. They're all very, very passionate about what they're doing and their role that they are playing in patient care. And it's kind of a cool thing to be a part of because we live in our little microcosm. So being a part of something a little bit bigger is fun.
I think it's so awesome that you said that. It brings me back to the viral post and how it's so easy to hate in public. Mm-hmm. And it's just, why is it so hard to I got so much support in my DMs. like, can you say it?
Yeah.
The guy that
Can you
called
go
me,
get that guy over there?
so back to Align, and yes, I mean, of course, we're in a position where we get to, right? We get to know the people involved too, and I don't think they get enough credit for it.
Yeah.
But again, I maybe it might sound like I'm biased because I get to, we get to know the people and get to know the processes and all of that, and I'm sure a lot of dental companies is the same thing. But I mean, especially lately, I'm just like, man, like, do we forget, like, short-term memory, like when during COVID, like they waived our fees or they waived our, like, all of the things that we have to pay, like, that it's a company, it's a business, and of course, like you said, there's responsibilities. And by the way, we signed also our lives away. It was like, it felt like a top secret, like, mission. Like, they took it to a corner, like, okay, are you in or are you out? Sign here. Like, what am I signing?
And do never speak of anything. You know nothing.
And every phone call once a month is like, well, the good news is there's been no data breaches this past month, so you're still on target. You're still in the study.
I may have been the first data breach. Just gonna go ahead and put myself out there.
What happened?
And I don't even know if I can speak of it. I don't know.
That would be a double data breach.
It happened so fast. It was actually very benign, and it actually didn't go anywhere. But I had to make the call. I was so humiliated, and I had to be like, guys, we may have a problem, and anyway, it worked out fine. It ended up not being a problem, but I definitely came in with my tail between my legs going, I feel like a big piece of doo-doo. I even had to have it at my other practice because I do have Align folks that come to my bigger practice. It's closer because I'm near the headquarters here in Morrisville. So there is crossover and people pop in and, so I'm like, well, I got to go put it in my other practice because there's no way I can control it there. Like someone's going to walk in and I'm just going to tell an employee to go scan. They're going to grab the new one and then it's all over. And I will have been the one that shut it all down. Like I could not manage the reliability. I just
over.
All right, Karla, where can they find you for the listeners who may not know you, which would be hard to believe now that you're a viral sensation on the internet. But if they don't know who you are, how can they find you?
Well, I mean, of course, Instagram at Dr. Karla Soto. That may or may not be a good thing. But I do have an educational platform where we have this community. And that's why I love what you guys have. And that's what Key Elements is. It's a community of like-minded people trying to yes, we're nerds, but we have fun and we just like learning how to dive deep into this world of digital workflows, all like in all the disciplines and having fun while we're at it and having a legacy. And we're doing a mission trip this summer, which I'm like mind blown that Key Elements is only like a year and a half old and we already have like these kinds of things that we're building. So that's at www.keyelements.co. And yeah, I mean, I think those two places you can always there's an email. You can always email me, message me on Instagram. Yeah, I'm here for you.
I love it. Dare I try one more time, guys? Dare I?
I think so.
I think that this is the way that we need to close the show tonight.
Yeah. So I definitely, it says I'm sharing audio to share. Oh, it says I have to do a tab instead. Hank, jeez, oh, Pete.
If we're closing out with that, then we need to thank Align for being an educational partner and always stepping up to the plate for education. Thank you, Align. Thank you, Karla, for being with us again. I got to hang with you in person.
Please, we're dancing with
some of that digital brain, man.
Anytime. It would be so fun. The next one's gonna be in person. How about that, guys?
Absolutely.
I love it.
And I'm gonna go dissect that video that you posted a while back, and I'm gonna make a really nice comment on there. I promise.
Do it.
We're gonna drown the negativity.
Crush it.
The funny thing is, in my personal one, that it was mostly positive. It was on the ones that were posted on the other pages that were not mine. That somebody made a spoof. Somebody made like a joke about what I was doing and making fun of it. I mean, it took
a lot of time.
Imitation is the best flattery, right, JB? Isn't that what you told me this past week?
That is what I told you.
But do you guys know the rest of that quote?
No.
It's imitation is the greatest, sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can buy.
Oh, that's even more of a burn.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
That just-
Wow.
I'm
I can't-
branding that right now on here
I
just so I
like
can go back to it.
I didn't know. I saw it. I think I saw it somewhere. It was a lecture. It's like social media or something. I'm like, what? That is kind of like mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right, still nothing, JB?
No, it's because it's only in my Photos app. I've just texted it to you guys. I don't know if you can come up with an alternative, but because it's in my Photos app, StreamYard says I can only share in a tab, and I don't know what that means. So this is why I don't drive this ship every
Well,
Wednesday.
Come on, Chad. You got this.
I don't have it. I'm a PC guy. I don't have a Mac, so I gotta plug my phone in and all that
Points for
stuff.
Olivia Rodrigo down.
I know.
Yeah, I did
know.
text it to you, but I guess you probably can't even get that on your computer.
I can't. It'd have to go via email. So
All right,
What
guys,
if
we will
made
post it again.
everyone watch next week to see it?
There you go.
Ooh, a teaser.
Now
Tune in next week.
You can watch it.
When Jen is off of the dashboard and no longer able to control anything
or
about
Jen
the
could
show.
just post it in the comments.
You can?
Yeah, you can. If
Yeah.
you have the
I
video
don't-
saved to your phone, you can post it in the comments of this thread.
I can
I mean,
do
we
that.
can't show it from the comments, but
I can do that.
there you go.
I can do that.
I don't think.
Well,
this
Jeff,
is
you
gonna
want to
work.
close this out, or you want me to, buddy?
No, go ahead and finish. I've given props to Alumni Tarot, and you do it too, man.
Well, I will go ahead and close this out. I want to thank Karla for being here. Karla, you're just an inspiration to us all. We think your videos are fantastic, and we think you're one of the best. So thank you for taking a little time this evening to be with us. To Align, I want to thank you all for your support of our platform. Thank you all for your constant innovation. And I hope everybody has a great week. And I hope that all of us who have been traveling, some further than others and some maybe just partying harder than others, I don't know. But anyhow, I hope that we're all a little bit more rested this weekend and into the coming week. So
Absolutely.
with that, let's have a great night. And that's it, folks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you, guys.
And that wraps up another podcast for Dentists in the Know. On behalf of Dr. Jennifer Bell, Dr. Chad Duplantis, and myself, remember that we've got a great profession, so let's make it a great day, Dinks.